What's harder is the new command Jesus gives in John 13. He says, "A new command I give you, love one another." This passage is not Jesus talking to a big crowd of people. He's talking to his dudes. He's talking to his disciples. He says, "I'm telling you, love one another as I've loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you're my disciples, if you love one another." It says it 3 times, love one another, love one another, love one another. This is the way Jesus loved you, so you love one another. This is how the world will know you're my disciples, so love one another. Jesus' command goes a step further than just loving your neighbor. His command says, now love the people that you go to church with. That's more difficult. Because, listen, church people are weird. I mean, think about this. Church people seem to think they've got the corner on the market of what God says about life. Church people think that they know the creator of the universe. That's outlandish. Church people think that their sins have been forgiven. That's crazy. That's good crazy. But there's also the other crazy, where church people think they know what color your car should be. Church people think they know how you should raise your children. Church people think a lot of things. And I have to admit to you, I've been raised in the church, and I've met a lot of church people that I don't like. But Jesus tells me I have to love them. That means I have to love you. That means Jesus says Christians should enjoy hanging out with each other. Okay, so oftentimes I give you obvious comments. Here's my obvious comment for the day. People cause problems. You might want to write this one down. It will come back. You will learn this one later if you haven't already learned it. But people cause problems. And the closer you are to people, and the more important the issues are, the more problems you can run into. I'll just give you an example. Okay, so this last week, we had a women's retreat, and I was asked to do some music with the band on Friday night. And so I contacted the band a couple weeks ago, and we said, yeah, we're going to be able to do this music thing on Friday night for the ladies' retreat. It was all cool. Then this last week, I'm sending out emails, and lo and behold, I find out just last night that a bunch of the emails that I sent out didn't go to some of the people who were supposed to get them. So I'll blame that on the internet. But the rest of it was all my fault. Because see, what happened was I'm trying to coordinate this thing, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. And so Thursday night, I'm preparing for Friday night, but because Friday night feels like a church service, Thursday night's now feeling like it's a different day. It's not Thursday, it's the wrong day. So I'm all messed up in my head, and I send out one of these emails to the band, and I say, okay, so we're going to practice on Saturday night at 7:30, but I didn't say Saturday night, I said tomorrow night. And so on Friday night, Amber shows up at 7:30 ready to practice with us, and I totally didn't know why she was there. I was like, okay, so whatever. And then the story goes, she had gone through just a complete, it was a tragic travel experience to try to get here by 7:30, and she ended up being a little bit late and told us the story, and I felt so sorry for her about all the stuff that she had to go through getting here. And then I got home and thought, why was she there? Because she missed the retreat thing. We had already done the retreat thing. And then I realized it was all my fault. I had told her to be there. Amber, I'm sorry. People cause problems. I admit it. I'm people too. People cause problems. And this is the thing, okay? When you're in relationship with people, you will find frustration. They will bother you. But something about this, Jesus says it's worth it. The Bible seems to tell us that healthy relationships, if you're taking notes, jot this down, healthy relationships with God's people are worth the effort. What I want to do today is just walk you through a book of the Bible that is a fabulous story of human relationships. No one in this book ever prays. In the book of Ruth, no one ever really prays. There's just people issue blessings to each other. There's no place in the book of Ruth where it says, God did this kind of thing. There's no miracles that happen. It's not until the very end of the book where we get one phrase where we find out God's done something. The whole book is really about these human relationships and the interactions they have with each other and why they're doing it. So what I want to do is I'm going to read the entire chapter 1, and I'm going to ask you to keep Ruth open as we make through the rest of the book. And I'm just going to kind of summarize the story for you the rest of the way. But it's on page 184 in the Bibles we pass out, so if you go ahead and flip there. I'm going to read all of chapter 1 here. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. And a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now, some of you might also already have a hint of where this story is going to go at the end, but don't give it away. I mean, just because it says Bethlehem doesn't mean anything special is ever going to happen in Bethlehem. So keep going. It says, now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they'd lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, Naomi and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she'd been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you, as you've shown to your dead and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it's more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me." At this they wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go,